Here's Mike Johnson once again reiterating why it's important to redact some names, because we wouldn't want innocent people, who might those innocent people be, to have their reputations run through the mud by an unredacted Epstein files release. So here he goes again.
Charge petition could create new victims, okay? Because it requires the DOJ to release information even in cases where the DOJ or the FBI has already reviewed it and determined it is not credible. It is false information. Doing this and requiring this to come out could ruin the reputations of completely innocent people, such as those who have may just have known Epstein but knew nothing of his crimes, or whose names he exploited. Think of this, innocent people whose names he exploited and used to try to get close to his intended victims.
Innocent people whose names he exploited to try and get close to his intended victims. Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. So let's just hypothetically say, for example, Virginia Giuffre. Let's just take her as a victim. She was one of Epstein's victims. Where was she recruited out of, Russell? Do you recall? It's a big house in Florida somewhere.
Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago. That's it. Mar-a-Lago. Right. These are just examples. We're just thinking out loud here, folks. Okay. So she was recruited out of Mar-a-Lago. And who runs Mar-a-Lago again? The name is lost on me. Who's the boss down there? Who lives there a lot of the time? Trump. That's right. Okay, so Trump. Okay, so for example, there you have an instance where this innocent man, Donald Trump, ran a lovely business, Mar-a-Lago, out of which Jeffrey Epstein recruited one of his victims. So the release of these files might do reputational damage to innocent men like Donald Trump. As an example, we're using him as an example. I'm sure that's not what Johnson is thinking of. He's just thinking in general terms. But for example, I think Donald Trump might be that innocent man who's going to suffer reputational damage unfairly if these files are released. Because it sounds like Virginia Giuffre is exactly the kind of person he's talking about here, right?
Or whose names he exploited. Think of this, innocent people whose names he exploited and used to try to get close to his intended victims.
Right, so he was friends with Donald Trump. Again, this is just an example. He's friends with Donald Trump, uses that connection to get into Mar-a-Lago to recruit a woman to abuse sexually. Okay, now I see his point now. I'm starting to say, this is starting to make sense now.
Their names may be in these files, and they had nothing to do with this. And so by just haphazardly releasing it, you're going to destroy their reputations.
Their reputation.
Releasing information containing the names of innocent people would subject those innocent people to a guilt by association. It would create an entirely new group of victims who have no means to clear their names. That's a concern of Congress, and it should be. It should be.
Yeah.
There could
especially
be
since, you answer to Donald Trump. Yeah.
There could be a young, innocent girl, innocent immigrant girl who came to America with stars in her eyes, went on to be lured into sex work, had sex with Jeffrey Epstein, and went on to be the first lady. That might be in there.
Yeah, that
might be in there. We don't want that person embarrassed.
Right. That could be embarrassing.
Sex work is work. That's what we say around my house.
Yes. We're going to make women do sex work to get food stamps. That's part of the work requirement for next year. It's part of the big, beautiful bill.
We call it the Caligula bill.
Yeah, the Caligula amendment. Yeah. So, I mean, is it any more? Could it be more obvious what he's talking about there? Like, could it be any more obvious? Oh, Epstein exploited the names of certain innocent people to get close to victims. That's exactly what happened with Virginia. It's amazing. Like, we know he recruited girls out of Mar-a-Lago. Trump complained about it. That's already in multiple Epstein leaks. It could not be more obvious what they are worried about here. It's the most obvious thing in the world for him to couch it in these generalities. Why don't you just come out and say, yeah, Trump didn't do anything, but this is going to make it look like he did. Right? Like, you may as well just say that. Everybody knows that's what you're talking about here. It's so pathetic. And this is why, man, there's just nothing they can do to stop this. This is just a whirlpool sucking all of them down. That's really what this is. There's no way
Well,
out. There's no way out.
well, and they made their own bed, man. I
Yep.
mean, they made this a central issue of their political identity, and I don't know how many of them were naive to how compromised Donald Trump would be if these files were ever released. Donald Trump certainly knew, but in his arrogance, he used it as a political tool, assuming that he could just shut the morons up when it came time. It's a Democrat hoax.
Right.
It's like Russia. Yeah, they'll forget about it. Wrong.
Wrong.
Not
Absolutely.
this. Not this.
I also think he assumed that, and wrongly, that there are so many Democrats implicated in this that the Democrats will never push to release the files.
Yeah,
And I
maybe.
think I think he kind of underestimated the extent
the
to which
generational divide between people who are in those files and people who aren't.
the extent to which there is a generational divide, and the extent to which Democrats, some of them, enough of them, are willing to just make this an issue. Like, if you're going to come in and you're going to do your Project 2025, where you do everything you can to render the legislative branch irrelevant, well, then at that point, you're forcing the legislative branch to do everything they can to remain relevant. And this is one of their only checks on you, is to threaten you with this Epstein shit, right? Like, the reason this didn't come up in Trump's first term is because Trump in his first term was essentially Mitt Romney with some mean tweets, right?
I mean,
Like,
this also wasn't as visible. It wasn't until 2019 that Epstein was
Well-
arrested, and most people really became aware of this. It was almost the end of his presidency.
that's true, but I would also float as a possibility that Epstein may have been whacked with the approval of the big man, the boss. Like, that could have been a big part of it. Don't forget, Donald Trump was president when that happened. We obviously know there's dirt on him here, right? So you never
we
know.
don't want those pictures of me with my little bubba in your mouth coming out.
Yeah, right, exactly. So look, I think he misjudged the moment in a lot of ways for a lot of reasons. We can dissect that.
Yeah, well, with Nancy Pelosi, when they asked her about this, she said, well, we need to be focusing on other things.
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't think the
distraction.
Epstein files, it's a
It's
distraction.
a distraction.
What do you think that's about? What do you
Well, of
think that's
course.
about? She personally knew a lot of people who did business with Jeffrey Epstein who would be embarrassed, at the very least, by a release of that. Ro Khanna doesn't give a shit. He's not from that generation.
Right, doesn't matter. Larry Summers just said, "I'm, basically exiting public life
Yes.
in
Well,
disgrace."
he's gonna keep teaching, which is great
Oh.
for a guy who palled around with a PDF file.
Yeah, yeah, you're really cleaning up academia's reputation there.
Yeah.
Please clap.